I don't know. Should I say Roland the oversized dwarf, or should I just say Roland is a half dwarf, half giant child of about 8 years old? Yeah. This is introducing too much. I don't want to introduce too much. Roland the oversized dwarf decides to return to the dwarf mines one last time. And that's got to be Hubert here, so I can want to switch here. Hubert, okay. After going around one tunnel the next, he finally happens upon a secret door and goes in. Hubert sneaks peeks into the window of Fairy God College, only to be met by an old acquaintance. Old acquaintance is a teacher Hubert knows, informs him Violet Moon Shadow's also back. Okay, so let's just go ahead and stop. In the Gnome Kingdom, Roland sees that there are tons of people and not just gnomes in the mines. After traveling some time, he finally spots a giant king. After they they start talking about the gnome mines and what they're doing. Roland Sr. tells Junior that this bad guy named Max needs a whole lot of Quicksilver. Roland tells them that the dwarves, citizens, and tourists are slaves working Max's Quicksilver mines in the Gnome Kingdom. Roland and John use the secret door to gain entrance into the Gnome Kingdom. Max finishes the Omni Gate and is ready to test it. Hubert tracks down Violet and confronts her. Roland and John locate the office of the mines. Roland and John then spot the dwarves tied and gagged on the floor. Sneaking in, Roland easily snaps the bonds holding them. Roland and John are captured by the gnomes. Hubert casts a spell that causes magic. Roland Sr. and Roland Jr. head to the North Country where his people are. John goes back in the night school with Sir William. A lot of the knights and in training have a lot of respect and so on and so forth. These first 5 ones are ones that I added or that I changed essentially from the last one. So, Enchanted Lands is a real magic kingdom that was turned into a tourist resort. The hotels, restaurants, and shops with a few exceptions. The Grand Enchanted Lands is a large hotel that most tourists stay at. Grand Enchanted Lands is still technically open, but not new guests. Many people have disappeared. And those are just kind of like, you might say, facts or, data points or whatever. It isn't even really exactly the plot. It's where the plot starts, though. I need to explain in short as way as possible what person is, what each thing in the game, in the story, is going to be. Hubert Halfway is a wizard with only half of his magic. Hubert is also the king's oldest and closest friend and advisor. And I'm gonna leave that because that's what he is, okay? Most of Hubert's other friends are missing. Hubert decides he needs some outside help, so he goes to our realm. Hubert gets John from our world. So there's a thing saying, what's this, who's this, and all this stuff. If I explain what Quicksilver is, that's not really helping to our plot. Not that I won't explain it in the game, in a description somewhere. Anyways, we'll go with that for a while. A princess from another realm is kidnapped while John helplessly watches. Let's add a little bit more of what happens. John looks at the coupon and mutters, I guess, and says some words in the fine print. The train starts to tumble and John falls, hit his head, and blacks out. When John awakens, he seems to be in a forest without leaves. And this is the Forgetful Forest, and at some point I was going to put it in there. I don't know if I am going to still put it in there, other than he opens into a forest or whatever. Hubert walks over and introduces himself. So this is where I don't know where the forest is in relation right now to the rest of the lands. And I was pictured it in my mind basically to the left of, maybe to the right, I'm not sure. And 1.5 is night school for training knight, and princess prep for girls who want to be princesses. So after I get this all down, I still have to introduce some characters, like for instance Sir William, and I don't have him introduced yet. And I'm just gonna go ahead and update this anyways. Update, there we go, and then edit. Anyways, after I do this, I'm gonna have to go through it again. I'm gonna have to find out where some of these other characters fit in, because they are important to the story. Roland's only about 8 years old, but already the size of a full-grown man, around 6 feet tall. I was gonna have him be fairly young. 8 years old is fairly young, but the times I remember the best, thing that I liked the best, is when I was about 10 years old, when I saw Back to the Future. That year, me and my brother got to go to the movies by ourselves. We were given money. We got to choose our own movie basically, and we got to see some cool movies and stuff. A couple of them so-so movies, but anyways, 10 years old is when you get these changes, these age changes. John sneaks into Princess Prep. Inside Princess Prep, John learns the princess was to go to the Grand Enchanted Lands Hotel. Hubert himself sneaks into Wizard U. He finds the wizard professors have all been trapped in their own Hall of Fame paintings. One painting is missing, which Hubert realizes was Maximilian Spell's own painting. I don't think I introduced Max, did I? That's alright. Roland asks the giant if he's his father. The giant, also named Roland, confirms it. And really, I don't need to tell you who the giant is, other than the fact that he's a giant and his name is Roland, and that he's Roland Jr.'s father. I just figured that I didn't need to say much more other than he confirms it, to which he replies he is, and that his name is also Roland. Fly to the Grand Enchanted Landian and see if the princess is there. Okay, and that's just kind of a one-line thing. Princess manages to escape her ropes. John finds out that the princess was kidnapped. Turns out princess was from Verdant's fly to the Grand Enchanted Landian to see if princess there. Princess side up to a wine cask manages to escape her rope in the wine cellar. We'll just say in the cellar that way. In the cellar manages to escape her ropes with the help of some mice. She then tries to escape by getting into the dumbwaiter, to which she's forced upstairs. She stumbles upon a room with some maps and other documents, which she grabs as recaptured. Count comes back and tells John and Hubert what he found. Hubert and John go and rescue her and arrive back at SFC. Okay, so that's pretty dry and that's pretty okay, but it doesn't really go into any detail about the rescue. Roland and John use the secret door to gain entrance into the Gnome Kingdom. Max finishes the Omni Gate and is ready to test it. Hubert tracks down Violet and confronts her. Roland and John locate the office in the mines. Roland and John then spot the dwarves fight and gagged on the floor. Sneaking in, Roland easily snaps the bombs, holding them. Roland and John are captured by the gnomes. Then surprised and captured by the gnomes. Hubert casts a spell that causes his magic to return to him. With Violet present, Hubert casts a spell that causes his magic to return to him. The guards, alerted to Hubert's presence, chase him to the train station. Hubert begins to speak to the crowd. Meanwhile, in the castle at the Omni Gate, Max has his text activate the machine for the first time. First, at half power, he has them open a few gates and then a few more. 1,000 gates are opened simultaneously, are then shut off. Max has his guards assemble the armies of creatures and men. As soon as all armies are assembled, he starts seeing a large amount of trains flying in. Realizing who they are, he commands his armies to attack them. He orders his technicians to put the machine at full power and open all the portals. A large battle ensues. The battle starts waning in favor of the Enchanted Landians. John spots Max trying to escape via one of the portals and chases him. John tackles Max, but Max throws him off and starts running for a stairwell. John chases Max up the stairs and onto a catwalk, and they begin to fight. I don't know if I should do it this way, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these little dashes here to sort of break that up. Okay, where's Act 3? We'll see if Act 2 is robust enough here. That, and then of course this is Act 1. I don't know if I did letters or numbers, doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is like the setup. This is